Welcome to another episode of Fave Five From Fans, the podcast where we explore all things favorite. I'm your host, Jamie Ray, and today we have Jason Turner once again joining me, this time to discuss our Fave Five rock persons. And he's zooming in to the... Jason. Hey, we're rolling.
Oh, I didn't even know you were there.
Yeah. That's me. So
that's weird.
But
that's weird. You're here.
I'm here.
I didn't even know. Are you always here?
I'm always everywhere.
Your camera's always on in this room. That's awkward.
And I'd rather not talk about some of the things that I've seen.
I'd rather you not either. Definitely not.
Wow. Well, sir, thank you for that little ditty. That was fun. I do appreciate you zooming in. I know that you're a very, very busy man. You work every weekend. You can take the glasses off now. You're too cool. Yeah, it's fine. Except now
they've been missing for 2 weeks, so we're gonna keep them on. That way I wouldn't lose them again.
I'm seeing my reflection in them, and that's just not a good thing.
I wear my dark sunglasses at night.
So Jason just got in from another show, and so I know you're tired. I know you got a lot going on, so I really, really appreciate you taking the time to come up with a list of our Fave Five rock front persons. So I didn't say front men, though your list may or may not have those of other than male whatevers. So it could be, but front men usually in rock, you're going to think of, some kind of guys. So what I did is I asked Jason to make a list of his 5 favorites and to do the maybe 2 honorable mentions. Why did I ask Jason? Well, Jason himself is a musician playing gigs in smoky bars and West End dives. And if you'll notice, I did not throw up air quotes. So I believe in you.
I don't believe that. I don't believe in you that you believe in me.
That's a smart move. So Jason's music can be found on Apple.
Everywhere you can stream music is there.
Everywhere you can stream music. And your website is jasonturnerart.com.
Yes, that will take you to the art. JasonTurnerBand.com for the band.
That's it.
Or for the music.
So after all of this, we're going to have all of his socials in there and links to, some of his songs and music. So go out and buy everything in his catalog and maybe pick up a couple 11x17 prints while you're at it.
Let's mix it up.
Maybe even a print if you have one.
I do.
I know.
Oh, you knew that. Okay. We talked about this.
Yep. You've shown it to me. It was good.
That's right.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if he was going up the building or down the building, but that's a completely another question.
That's Spider-Man. All
right. Well, as we always do, we're going to start with honorable mentions. What is an honorable mention? Well, it's something that you just had to mention, whether for good reasons or bad, or one of those things that you got 5 favorites and you just couldn't fit this 6th one in, but you still wanted the opportunity to take it and talk about it.
Okay. So we're starting with
you've got some?
Yeah.
All right. How many do you have?
Honorable mentions, 2 definites, and I could probably keep going all night.
Oh, I'm sure we could.
Yeah. And I will preface all this with saying that, this is my choices, obviously, but that doesn't mean that you're right and I'm wrong or anybody,
That's
and
correct.
And thinking about front men, kind of where I came to the decision, or front people, because they're not all men, is thinking of artists who, like, if this person left the band tomorrow, there is no band. It's not like Journey that's like they find the dude on the internet and they just go tour. Like, he sounds like they're gone, the band is like, that's it.
Okay.
Or if they do get a new singer, they're like now not in stadiums. They're at same places I play on the weekend.
Smoky bars and West End dives.
Yes. So that's kind of I'll start with one honorable mention, and he's not one of my favorites, but I feel like I can't talk about front people without saying Mick Jagger,
Okay.
because if he, I personally am not the biggest Rolling Stones fan. I do like the Rolling Stones, but I think if he's out of the band tomorrow, there's no Rolling Stones.
Right.
Same thing, Keith, you could say Keith Richards, even though he's not a front man, he's right there with him, and just the definitive voice of that band. You
Right.
can hear his voice, you know exactly who that is.
Exactly.
There's so many bands today, especially in a twangy genre, that I'm like, who is that? That sounds like that other song I just heard 5 seconds ago, and the one before that, and the one before that, and the one before that. You know who Keith Richards is the second he starts singing. Or,
that's a great choice.
Keith Richards plays guitar. Mick Jagger. Hey, you know who it is.
I know who it is.
Do I need
AMG.
have a guitar? Do I need play a song by these people, each one?
Hey, whatever you want to do, man.
No, we won't do that. My voice is
well, that's
ragged.
a great one. You got another one though?
Yeah. James Hetfield of Metallica.
Oh, okay.
And I also am thinking about front people. I think about these larger than life, and like I say, we could go all day with great ones. These are just my favorites, not necessarily the greatest. But
Right.
James Hetfield, Metallica. You know that voice, you know that sound, he is everybody in Metallica, but he's the dude,
Right.
So he's in there. I've got a third, Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain. Yeah, because when he was gone, no more Nirvana.
Yeah. Became Foo Fighters.
Yeah. Though the Foo Fighters, in a completely different way, are an awesome band.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk more about them later.
Okay.
Well, who's your honorable mention, sir?
Well, it's funny that you ask me about mine, because my first honorable mention is Arnel Pineda from Journey.
I just brought them up.
So you're right in that the band changed after Steve Perry decided not to join them again.
Yeah.
I love the story of Arnel.
Oh, I do too. Yeah, I didn't mean that as a slight, but it's like it worked,
It did. It really worked. And so for anybody who doesn't know this story, Arnel was living in the streets. His mother died when he was real early. He had to quit school to help raise his brother and sister. But he worked the streets and worked the clubs, and he was going through a whole number, different bands and what in the Philippines. And he was in a band at that time called The Zoo, which was making videos where they were covering groups like Journey and Aerosmith, and they were on YouTube and they were gaining fans. Well, it was right when The Sopranos finale came out. And at the very closing of it, they used Don't Stop Believing from Journey. And that song shot up on iTunes. And so Neil Schon and some of the other guys said, hey, this is it. We need to get back on tour. They had done the tour a while back, like 8 or 10 years before, with Steve Perry. But after that, he had a back, or we thought it was a back injury, and it's actually a whole neurotic, not neurotic. God, I'm so messing this up right now. So Steve Perry had it, huh? Neurological. Yeah, he had an issue where his bones were actually. So he was going to have a surgery, but it was going to be a major surgery.
Yeah.
So they kind of put the band's plans on hold, but they could not get him to commit to go have the surgery. So again, they've exploded, on the internet again. Everybody overnight success of them. And so Neil Schon is basically watching YouTube one night, and he comes across these videos. And this guy Arnel, he is doing one voice after the other, and he's hitting them perfectly.
Yeah.
And so he reaches out to a guy, the fan who was sharing the videos, to connect with him. And Panetta thought it was a prank, and he was just ignoring the emails. So he finally ended up calling him and encouraged him. And like 10 minutes later, Neil Schon was calling him saying, "We love what you're doing. We want you to fly out to California and do um, a whole week of just, we're going to get you to sing. We want to get you to do all these different things. Interview him for this." I saw this on a Sunday show where he tells the story of he got to the airport and he and his manager, and they were trying to leave the country, and the guys in customs didn't believe him. So I guess they were very strict about how you go out, and because it was so quick. And he told them that I was going to try out for Journey, and they basically just laughed at him. So he had to sit there and sing the songs to prove that he was really going. So anyway, he got there. They traveled in August, early August, and by December of that year, he was named as the new singer, and they went out on tour.
That's awesome.
It is. I think it's a great story. Now, I will say that he is singing like Steve Perry, not singing like Arnel Pineda.
Right.
And there's a difference. But I just couldn't go without talking about this guy, because it's
it's a great story.
Amazing story. You know, I mean, literally living in his car, doing gigs. You know, it's just crazy. But anyway, so that's the one. Now the other doesn't quite follow your rule either, but it's going to be Michael Hutchence from NXS. Okay.
That's what I mean. We could go all night.
Yeah. You know, Australian singer and songwriter. He co-founded the NXS. He was their lead singer from 77 for 20 years until he passed away in 97. And they have a really great story, because after that, NXS just couldn't find their way. So they actually had a TV show, and it was to pick the new singer for NXS. And I remember watching it. And so when they finally got the new singer, and I don't know his name, they put out a whole new album. Did not sound like Michael. He wasn't trying to emulate him like Arnel did for Journey, but they kind of took it and kind of melded it into a whole different sound, and it was a more updated sound for now. So it's been a lot of fun to listen to them. I actually have that album listen to me on Spotify, but it was one of the few times where the front man is departing, whether passing away or going on solo, really could have killed the band. But luckily they were able to change and move. And you know, shout out to my friend Jean. She's a huge fan of his, had his posters on the wall. You know, but so anyway, those are my two honorable mentions. Now that they're out of the way, I'm ready to hear your actual factual number 5.
Number 5 is going to be Hayley Williams of Paramore.
Yeah, that's an amazing voice.
And this is one, like, I always liked the band. Her voice, like I love their songs and would love to cover one, but there's no singing like that, especially for a dude, you know, like, if you can, man, hats off to you. I'm sure there are dudes out there can, but just powerful voice, good music. But I took my daughters to see them, you know, because they stopped for a while playing for a few years. They just were so, I guess when they got famous, you know, record companies that had them on the road constantly, they got burned out. They needed a break. And it was like a few years. So they came back, and this was last year. Yeah, last year I took them to see them in North Carolina. And man, just the stage presence she had, and just that show was just, it reminded me of like seeing bands in the 90s that were high energy. Because I've seen a lot of shows. Yeah, I've seen a lot of shows in recent years, and you know, it's a big production, but it's almost like the flashy lights and stuff was more important. And it was seeing just the band rocking out, and you could tell they were feeding off of her, and she had the crowd on. That's what I mean, like front person, like
Right.
she
Somebody that they
owned
can
that.
all rally around
Yeah,
and
she could have
just, as I
said,
said,
"Hey,
feed off their
everybody, run
energy.
outside and start painting cars," and they would have done it. You know, like that kind of thing. Like, so Haley Williams.
Great choice.
Yeah, I
Great
think so
choice.
too. I think so too, Jamie.
I approve.
It says your name at the bottom of here. Notice that's cool.
Yeah, it says yours too.
You only have 3 bars of service. It says.
I changed it to say something else on yours, but that's okay.
Oh, good, good. Probably something very nice. I'm assuming.
Very nice. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, you got a Nosferatu print in the back. I like that.
Yeah, I actually those are by the same artist. Man, this is a new camera. I don't know how to fix it from going in and out. But
I know that we're talking in January, you know, but you know that Nosferatu movie came out on Christmas. Did you go see it?
Yeah, I have not seen it in the future yet. Even though this is in the past now.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it though. Really enjoyed The Last Voyage of the Demeter. So it's cool to see them going back and doing the period pieces again.
Yeah, so, I'm excited about it. And in Skarsgård Nosferatu? Or
yeah, I think so.
We don't know.
One of the Skarsgårds. There's like 7 or 8 of them now.
I think it's the one he's now, you know, he's been a clown, he's been a crow, and now he's going to be a vampire.
Is it Bill?
I think it's Bill Skarsgård, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I don't know about that crow movie, but that's a different Fave Five.
Totally different.
All right, you're number 5. Let's hear it.
All right, well, my number 5 is going to be controversial amongst my friends who listen to this show. Luckily, I don't have a lot of friends, so it won't cause that big of a deal.
Well, both of them will get over
it. Yeah. So I'm just going to say it. I was a child of the 70s, okay? But in 1985, there came a new frontman for an established group that had such a presence in the rock genre that it caused major waves when David Lee Roth left Van Halen, and Sammy Hagar became the new lead singer. Changing in a lot of people's name, it's Van Hagar. Lasted from 85 to 96, and again from 2003 to 2005. Now, why did I pick him over David Lee Roth? This is weird. Okay, I'm going to say it right now. I'm out there. I liked David Lee Roth more as a solo artist than I did as the frontman of Van Halen. There are several songs that I love from Van Halen, but there are so many more that I enjoy from Van Hagar. Yeah. And the whole dynamic was different.
Right.
I will say that. The music was updated for the time. And
I would say more focused.
Yeah, focused is a good word. Yeah.
Van Halen, and I'm not trying to jump in if it's okay.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Van Halen. Musician.
Yeah, Van Halen is like, there's a youthful, just, you could tell they came out of the garage, you know, like Eddie's creating these crazy sounds no one's heard anybody ever do before.
Right.
I mean, it's just that in your face rock and roll. And then, you know, Van Hagar, they're more mature. And so the songs are definitely, I'm not going to say more musical because Van Halen's, you know, amazing. But I'm saying like, it was definitely more focused. You could definitely tell maturing.
Yeah.
I love them both. Yeah.
I do too.
But I would say I might lean with you. Like there's, the songs of Van Hagar were definitely more stick in my mind.
Yeah. Now, as a showman, yeah, David Lee Roth cannot be touched. No. Okay. Back in the heyday, and a lot of people will be like, how could you pick? Well, I liked Sammy Hagar before he was the lead singer. I loved 3 Lock Box and Where Eagles Fly, and you know, I Can't Drive 50. I loved all that stuff, and the stuff that he did on heavy metal, you know, was also awesome. But when he took the front for them, I can remember me and my buddy Kirk would drive, you know, the strip, and the radio in his car was so bad We
Mhm.
had a boombox that we put in the back seat,
Yeah, yeah,
and the first 5150 was on constant rotation in the back,
yeah.
and my dad of all people loved Dreams because they put, I think it was the either the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds in it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was it just my dad likes this song, but when he got out in front of them, he didn't feel like a new guy. He
Yeah.
just, he felt like he was one of the
It
gang and
just
one of the
worked.
crew. Yeah, and it meshed a lot more because there had been a lot of hard feelings there at the end when David Lee left.
Oh yeah.
Um, and so a lot of people thought that was it, that it was gonna, they were gonna pack it up and go, which would have been horrible
Right.
because of the talent of all of the people, but especially, Eddie. So that's one of the many reasons why I choose Sammy Hagar as my number 5 favorite frontman.
I think it's funny that I said all my choices were like people who, if they left the band's over, and all your choices have been bands that have gone on with somebody else.
Now, I will say that, oh no, never mind. Yep, that's my choices.
All right. So moving on to
So,
number 4.
yeah, let's hear your number 4.
Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, just I think of that 70s just rock and roll frontman, like that's
Monsters.
the dude. That's the
Uh-huh.
dude. Like he may or may not have had some fruit in his pants, but he was like the type. He's got his shirt open, swinging the microphone cable, and it was a toss up between him and um, sorry, the long drive over 24 hours is getting in my brain.
Yeah.
Roger Waters of the Who,
Oh,
because
okay.
they both in my brain look alike.
Right.
But I think of the same thing, like these just big voices and but Led Zeppelin, I just they're not like a favorite band of mine, but like as a favorite frontman that I just remember. What's their movie that's live? Song Remains the Same. Is it called that?
I think that's right.
Yeah, I just remember like I grew up, and kind of what got me playing guitar as a young kid was like I had two uncles that were big into rock and played guitar, and Steve Ray Vaughan and all that
Mm.
classic. They loved Led Zeppelin, and I just remember them watching that, always hearing his voice, and that was just like my introduction at a young age to rock and roll. That and Van Halen, ironically enough, because I remember my one of my uncles he was 18 when I was born. So by the time I was 4 or 5, he's early 20s. He plays in bands, and I remember him putting on Hot for Teacher.
Oh,
Our family is from Meridian, Mississippi, which is like about an hour and a half from here. And I remember riding his Volkswagen, hearing that motorcycle engine kick up for that song. But
yeah.
that and Led Zeppelin. So it's just like in my brain, Robert Plant's
Yeah.
got to be in there.
That's a great choice. And one of the cool things about the fact that I feel when he left, his he completely changed his
Oh
music
yeah.
catalog. And it was an amazing transition. And it kind
Mm-hmm.
of makes you think, well, how long did he want to do that? Or was he
Right.
just sick of rock and roll and wanted to go out? Because, that, what was it, the Honey Drippers? Um, you know,
Yeah.
just a great fun sound, very kind of retro, but at the same time, he had that power voice behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that's an excellent choice. Good on you, sir. Um,
Yeah. I know.
so my number 4, I was fixing to say is completely going to be different, but nah, now that I think about it, it's the same. Um, I'm going to choose the front man from 1985 to 1998 of the industrial hard rock group, techno, whatever you want to call it, of White Zombie. And I'm talking about Rob Zombie. Now,
Yes.
that guy, I love Rob Zombie. Okay, the fact that not only does his music take samples of classic horror films, but he also has a whole song about the car from the Munsters.
Yeah.
His shows look like a Guar show for horror fans,
Mm-hmm.
but he was really really out there. And then in the late 90s when the band kind of started having some some difficulties about where they were going and what they wanted to do, and he ended White Zombie. He
Mm.
turned around and has made a huge career for himself as just himself, Rob Zombie. Now he's gone on to direct horror movies. You know, he and Sherry
All
Moon.
featuring his wife, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you're going to feature somebody, that's not a bad one to feature.
Hmm.
But now I will say this is kind of weird. All right. I'm not a huge fan of the live stuff. Because all of the songs that I have that heavy uh, over recording and, like I said, use of clips from stuff.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen him live, but of the shows that I've seen, I'm kind of like, I don't really know that I ever need to go see him in concert
Yeah.
because I love the music from the
I don't
albums.
know. I bet it'd be an experience there.
Oh, it would be. Trust me. And back in my days when I could, put away some grog,
Yeah, same.
yeah,
I
I
go to
might
anybody's
do
show.
it.
There's a reason they don't let me drink. But yeah,
That's right.
I would go to anybody's show. But I feel like it'd be like going to see Marilyn Manson. Like, I'm not a huge Marilyn Manson fan, but I bet that would just be a spectacle. Like,
Yes. Oh, of the live videos that I've seen, it is. I mean, he's got, huge things behind him where I mean, the
right.
whole reason White Zombie was called White Zombie is because of the Bela Lugosi film.
Yeah.
From when he controls the zombies by doing this. I'm like, God, what a great way to start.
And now they have Einstein Kills that kind of does the same thing with horror movies.
Oh yeah,
And they kind of
Einstein
acted.
Kills.
Einstein Kills. They're pretty heavy,
Einstein Kills.
but all their lyrics are like horror movies. They have like horror characters on stage, and like a girl cuts her face off. Obviously not real, but it's a whole thing.
I was gonna say they have to get a new one for every show.
Yeah, it's a lot of murders follow them, but they did a single for Terrifier 3 that's got, and they got a crazy video that's got him in it. Of course, if Art the Clown,
Yeah.
Art the Clown's. I want to do a horror episode with you at one point, by the way. But
okay,
but you'll have to change the show to top 20 or something like that.
I'll never change it to top anything, just so you know.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, like, you have to lose the 5. It had to be like 35.
That's right. Okay, well,
all right.
Continuing on, I'm really interested in finding out what your number 3 is.
My number 3 would be Freddie Mercury.
Oh, what a classic.
Just, man, if you think of Freddie Mercury and, like, I don't think anybody can sing Deo, and I think about him doing it in front of like 100,000 people or however many, and wherever that, I don't remember what the concert
that was Live Aid.
Yeah, Live Aid, just where he has that many people just falling in. And really enjoyed the movie they made about him a couple years ago.
Yeah, like, I really did too.
I always liked Queen and really liked the music and thought he was just kind of this larger than life character. But that movie really kind of, and it was cool because my daughters the weird thing when your dad's a musician who plays rock and roll and tries to tell them how cool rock and roll is, it's like, whatever, they don't listen. So it was cool to get a cool movie like that. But like, what's Queen about? And I'm like, I'm finally, yeah. I'm like, hurry up, make the Pearl Jam movie. No. If that's how I got to reach these kids with this music, I guess let's go by the movies.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, and it was a great movie. The one about Elton John, not so much.
Yeah.
Man, that one with Freddie Mercury was just amazing.
I don't think I saw the Elton John one. I think
I didn't either. It's one of the few movies I've watched some of.
I feel like, with the travel schedule and everything, like there's a lot of movies that come out and I get to hear my peers' reviews enough to where I'm like, I can wait till that comes out so I can watch it at the house or just not. Hence, I wish I not watched Joker 2 over the weekend in the hotel, but there you go.
Oh, yeah?
Nah.
Yeah. I've never seen the first one.
First one's good.
Yeah.
First one's good. Second one, don't know what they're doing there.
Yeah, that's what everybody tells me,
Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay. Great pick.
Who's your number 3, buddy?
I don't want to move on to my number 3 yet. I want to talk about Freddie Mercury,
Yeah,
because that's another. I mean, that's a great pick. Obviously, it's a great pick, but it is definitely. So I mean, look at how long they went from 1991 up until mid like 2015 or so,
yeah,
where they didn't have a front man. I mean,
yeah,
they would have guest people come in and sing for them or whatnot, but that's a huge period for them not to have a front man. And it just goes to show you how influential Freddie Mercury was to that group.
right. That they're
Um,
still going and still that relevant to kids today.
yeah, yeah. And you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously, know Fabio myself, but for such an interesting looking man to be in the front of such an
Oh yeah,
amazing group just says a lot,
yeah, it really does.
So I can't disagree with you because that is an awesome pick.
All right,
So
thank you,
good on you,
thank
sir.
you,
You're
thank you,
welcome.
sir.
All right, well, let's get to my number 3. One of the many reasons that we chose, let's see, put this right here, that we chose to call this front persons is the one and only Grace Slick of Airplane, Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, and Starship.
Yeah,
Um, Grace had such an amazing voice and just commanded the stage. I think when she got out in front of them, and at
yeah,
that time to have it was very innovative to have a woman up front of a rock group. But then when you get something like White Rabbit and Somebody to Love, and then later on when you get, I mean, God, I can't tell you, I must have seen that movie Mannequin like 4 or 5 times.
yeah,
And then they transitioned to Jefferson Starship, and then they changed even more to Starship, and like I think that was when they did We Built This City. For that
yeah.
span of time, I mean, they have a lifetime achievement Grammy. So it's always been Grace up to the front. And she is just a very powerful presence on the stage. And I think it would do a major disservice to her to not have her on this list. And I will tell you, um, I almost chose um, the Wilson sisters from
Yeah,
Heart. Okay.
I thought that's
But
where you
then
were
I
going,
was,
honestly.
yeah. But then I was like,
Yeah,
oh, God, it's not really. They literally like co-led Heart.
yeah, yeah. They were
So
kind of.
yeah, they were
Yeah,
co-front persons. So I kind of went back and forth about that because I think I really liked more Heart stuff than I liked
right.
Grace and Jefferson Airplane. But when it came down to it, she was the solo front person that I picked. So
Yeah,
there you go. That's my number 3.
I like it. I like it.
Thank you.
It's funny when I keep seeing your name down here in the corner. It looks
Uh-huh.
like an ad's about to pop up on YouTube, and I remember we're in a live video. Oh my god, damn it! Let me skip this.
Well, this looks like a great time. Let's stop for a few minutes because you have so much going on. Not
Yeah.
only are you doing shows, and we're going to see each other for sure
Mm.
at Heroes Con in
Yep.
July, I think it is. Super
June.
excited for that. I'll have a great place to leave my stuff and walk around.
Yeah.
And
I asked
you'll have
somebody to
hot dog
bring hot
delivery
dogs to
service.
me.
Huh?
That's what I like.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I'm a sucker for a hot dog or a hamburger. That's why I've got this chisel physique.
But what's going
and
on?
by
I know you're
shows,
doing
you mean Comic-Cons.
yes, Comic Cons, but I'd also like to hear a little bit about your music because you're when you're not at a convention, you're playing in your music somewhere.
I am, and I've actually, I guess now would be a good time to let this secret known. So for the past year or two, when I haven't been traveling, I haven't put out any new music since 2020, and so I've been, and I it's when the Comic Cons, my comic art kind of got busy. I don't know if I'd say take off, but like it started getting going, and I started doing Comic Cons like left and right, and working on the comic book stuff, and so I just kind of got real busy for a while with that, but for the past 2 years, I've been low key, not telling anybody, not making your typical day one in the studio post, like I've been like, I wanted no one to know. And so it's some of the most different music that I've ever made. And I'm really, really excited to get it out there.
Well,
Like,
awesome. Well, when's it coming out?
We should be dropping a single in January or February, the first single. Then we'll drop a second single. So probably, I mean, it's coming out next year, but
Okay.
yeah, we're mixing it. That's what I've been doing early in the week when I'm not, doing the Comic-Con thing. And then granted, I just did my last Comic-Con of the year, so I've got roughly a month till I go back out. So we'll kind of dive in and think hard about that. But yeah, just playing shows. And
are you pressing CDs?
I will. The past couple I have not, because I thought a couple CDs ago, my bass player, I went to give him like a master CD, like, here you go, here's yours. And he's like, hey man, I just got a new car. Like, can you just Dropbox it? Like, there's no CD player. So I quit making them. And then sure enough, the last two releases, people were like, where's the CD? And I'm like, okay.
Physical media is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I would
actually,
actually,
I like,
what? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know if your camera catches it, but I'm a big vinyl collector. So I really would like to put it out on vinyl, but I don't know. We'll see.
That would be awesome. Pricey. I was going to say, a friend of mine is in a group called the Pine Villains, which is, are you familiar with them?
I'm not. No.
Okay, so there's a town called Pineville, and anyway, so they're all from there. He actually put it out on vinyl and some cassettes.
Oh, wow.
I thought was really cool, and it was very limited. They did like a Kickstarter, so they were kind of covered when it came out. But now, man, it's
that's
cool.
funny to do a Kickstarter for the vinyl release.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got the music down, just see if there's. I'd buy one.
All right.
Yeah. So,
all right. But yeah, so that's what's going on. So next year, also been finishing up issue 5 of Ripper Gene. I have like one more page to draw. It was going to be this crazy huge issue. This year's been nuts, and then kind of, I guess a good problem to have. People start asking like, "What's the deal with the Rip? Where's the next issue?" Blah, blah. So I was like, I talked to the writer and I was like, "Hey, dude, let's split this. Like, we're gonna make too much time's gonna pass." I was like, "You've already given me the full script, so I mean, I'm not gonna in the in between of doing Kickstarter. I'm just gonna be, chiseling away at the issue 6. So it should be bang bang right behind each other. So cool. That's the plan. So
and 6 wraps it up.
6 wraps it up. Then I've got a few of my own stories I've been writing that will come behind that. So
that is great. I'm guessing there'll be horror.
No. It's funny that we start, because Ripper Gene was a book written by, I think I've told you the story.
Yeah. I've told this story to many people.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I love horror, don't get me wrong. Like, but I'm a big comic book guy, so it's like one story, honestly, is like a kid's story. It probably is I mean, of course, when I say kid's story, it's like Goosebumps. So I guess, maybe some horror. Like a Wizard of Oz, something is killing the children, but more kid friendly. And then I've got this other story that very post-apocalyptic. We talked about the last time I was on here, we talked about virus films. Yeah. I've always loved that kind of end of the world. What are you gonna do? Whether it's a zombie or alien or whatever it is. So this is kind of a take on Mad Max-ish into the world kind of thing.
Awesome.
But focused on the family.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's all I'll give you now.
It's important. All right.
It will be very violent. We'll put it that way.
Looking for, and you're gonna kickstart that too?
Yeah. Once I kind of get further along. I don't like to do the Kickstarters till I'm like the book's done. So it's just gonna be a production. I don't want to be like, it's done, but we'll have it out to you in a year. No, I don't want to do that.
That happened to me once, and I will say it was worth the wait because they
Yeah.
really did a good job of making up for it.
Right.
You know, with all these extra things and stuff there. But I won't even say who it was. But
Right.
like I said, they at least acknowledged the fact that things happened, and they constantly gave us updates, even if the update was we're still moving along. You know, we're still set. We still have our printing slot saved for us, which, you know, that's all you can ask for. Things happen, you know, in the real
Oh
world.
yeah. And I say that almost for myself is like I don't want it to do that, and also the stress of it because the last issue there was a bit of an issue that delayed it a couple months, and I was sending updates but didn't realize that they weren't getting to people. So like
Oh,
yeah, so it was kind of like I had somebody email me for once, and I was like, they're like, "Hey man, what's with my book?" And I was like, "Oh god." And then I was like, "I've been sending updates." And I looked, I'm like, "It's not going out." I had
oh
some stupid
wow,
setting clicked.
that
So
sucks.
so yeah, that one will be a while, but
Yeah,
I've actually drawn half of the kid balloon. Kind of went in
cool.
between stuff. So
I, I might try to sneak a peek there in July if you bring it with you.
I will. I'll bring it down there.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. Maybe there'll be a beheading on a page, and our friend would like it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start drawing a beheading if I know I'm gonna bump into it.
Just saying, just saying. Well, that's
All right.
awesome. And you are still getting time to go to sleep, right?
I do that. I don't.
Mm,
I don't require a lot of sleep because I live off caffeine. But yeah, I do go to sleep sometimes.
awesome. Well, great. Well, I think if we're done enough chit chatting, we are now ready for our. You ready for it? Penultimate. You have to do it too. You ready? Penultimate choice.
AKA number two,
Number two.
penultimate choice.
That's it. All right. Well, who's your second favorite front person?
This is a controversial these days.
Okay.
He's in a little bit of trouble. But Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters.
Why is it controversial?
Well, he's in some trouble. He had made a post on Twitter or Instagram saying that he's got a baby coming out of not from his wife,
Right.
from somebody else, you know. So there's some people mad at him right
Oh,
now.
oh, I thought he was being canceled for something like he had said or done.
Well, you know, people are canceling him because of that. But
Oh,
he is Dave Grohl, so who knows?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
when it, you know, you think
It's a
about,
personal business,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I'm like, I ain't got nothing to do with his music. You know, that's not what
Right.
the songs are about.
Not running
But
over puppy dogs or something, you know?
right.
That's something for him and his wife and this person to decide.
Yeah,
But
and honestly, like if you go through every rock and roll band story, it's like
oh my God.
finding
Yeah.
the good. I don't think any of them are good. You know, I mean, we're here for the music. We're not here
Yeah.
for what do they. That's that's a whole other topic about how the celebrity obsession. But as far as frontman, I mean, you will not see a better rock and roll show. Like
Mhm.
I've seen them twice. One I remember very well because the other I still was in my drinking days. It's actually a funny story because I went to Jazz Fest to see them for the first time, and I was so pumped because I love their music. And uh, they would let you buy beer and put it in this clear bag, but the bag was like a freaking, you know, like you went
Okay.
to a Fan Expo and that bag you buy there and walk around with stuff. So I filled it with Miller Lights. We
Oh,
watch them in the sun, and it's sun. You're sweating in New Orleans in April, and I'm like, I don't feel it. And I went to you had to go up a hill. It rained during the first first half of their set,
yeah.
which was awesome because it was hot. But so I'm still not feeling it. I walk up a hill to use the porta potty, and somewhere between there, all that beer caught up to me. And I went to walk back down the hill to where my sister and friends were, and man, just
Landed.
slip and slide to their feet.
Ah, mud everywhere, I'm
Oh
sure.
yeah, it's like the Woodstock videos.
Wow.
Hence again, the reason they don't let me drink no more. But
Well, I'll
but
tell you one of the best Dave Grohl stories I have is I saw a concert once, again, video, I haven't seen him live, where he fell off the stage and broke his foot.
oh yeah,
And you know this story?
Oh yeah, he fell,
Yeah.
broke
And
his
they
foot,
taped
came
him
on
up,
stage.
put him
Yeah,
on
he's like,
stage, and
they're
he
gonna.
played for like another hour and a half.
Yeah, he said, I'm gonna go to the hospital, but I'll be right back. And so his band, Taylor Hawkins, who passed away, had
Yeah.
had a side band in L.A. So they just played some covers. The band basically improv cover songs for this crowd for an hour, and then
Yeah.
Dave rolls back up there in a cast. Some dude had to hold it up because
Right.
it was just kind of a makeshift cast. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I
Now
mean. That is a
that's
front man.
commitment. That is
Yeah, that is
commitment.
a front man. And
Yes.
seeing him twice, saw him in Shreveport a few years after that. I mean, every show's 3.5 hours. Like he's talking to you. It's just he's a front man.
Yeah. My second favorite performance of his is when he played drums in a drum battle with Animal from the Muppets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was just hilarious. I mean,
Yeah, it is awesome.
he seems like a really good guy. So I hate to hear that story, but again, that's their private life, and
It is. And
who among us can't throw a stone,
right,
So
exactly.
yeah, awesome. Well, that's a good one.
No one on the internet though. They're perfect. That's why they can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
All right. Well, my number two is going to be quick because we have already talked about the incomparable, the immortal Freddie Mercury of Queen. It's a match. I was, I was just enamored with him. I remember being at my grandparents in a town called Echo, in Louisiana, and watching Live Aid on TV. And I remember seeing his performance and just thinking, I mean, even at my age, I was like, I'm seeing history right here. This
Oh
is
yeah.
amazing. And it's like you said, the way, I mean, Harry Belafonte couldn't have gotten that many people to sing Deo. And
Yeah.
everything he did, and if half of the movie is true, this man just led such an incredible life. And God, I wish I had a quarter of the confidence that he had in himself. That
Oh yeah.
just the music, the chances they took, the just the showmanship, and I mean, it's a perfect storm with all of the guys. But to have him up front and to be such a unique looking person, um, nowadays people would lose their minds over having somebody like a Freddie Mercury in front.
Right.
Well, maybe not because anyway, it at that time was just almost unheard of.
Right.
And so, yeah, we've been talking. I've been doing a whole list about Fave Five Star Wars pop culture references,
Right.
and the fact when he he did a concert where he sat on Darth Vader's shoulders while wearing a Flash Gordon T-shirt.
Yeah.
It's iconic. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you can't get more than that. So that was a great choice of yours, and I second that with my number two.
All right.
All right,
So we've hit the.
got them
Here we
all.
go.
We are now ready for your absolute favorite rock front person.
And this one is a very personal choice. I don't know, if anyone will agree with me, but
They don't have
this
to.
one they
It's
don't have
yours.
to because this is my choice. This one is directly responsible for me playing music at all. I grew up in I kind of rough upbringing, not kind of, I did, but at home, and so when I was I remember kids at school talking about this band. They had a first album out, and I liked 2 or 3 songs from it, but I really didn't pay that much attention. And then my grandfather, who I was real close to, died, and we went to, like I said, Meridian, where my family was from, for a week, preparing for the funeral and everything. I remember my mom took me to a Walmart, say, you can get anything you want to entertain yourself. And I remember kids at school talking about the second album from this band coming out. And it was coming out on the Friday of that week. And so I went to Walmart, and there was the first album. And I remember I put it on, and in the first listen through, it's first time music. I was already playing guitar because I thought Aerosmith was cool and Guns N' Roses was cool. So I already started learning how to play guitar, but never cared about making up my own songs. But the lyrics of this first album, I mean, it was like this dude was singing about the stuff going on in my house. Like I never thought of lyrics as a healing thing or something to help you, pull those emotions out. And I immediately went and got a notebook. I had my schoolwork I was supposed to be working on there, but I didn't do that because I was drawing comics. But and I made up I didn't know how to write songs, but I made up like 20 songs, just writing how the stuff I was going through. And that band, as I've seen them, 10 plus times. The lyrics have grown with me, and so and this band, and I know I haven't said the title, I'm keeping you waiting on purpose, but like
I know it's New Kids on the Block.
Yeah,
I've already figured that out.
It is definitely. No, this band definitely, I don't think this person's voice is so iconic and so different, and so there's millions of people who, just like the story I told you, that's how this person's music affects them. They would just not be a band if he's not in the band, Okay. So that band is Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
and Temple of the Dog.
Yeah. I mean, he commands a room on a stage. It's
yes, he does.
It's definitely a concert there. But anyway, there's mine.
So that first album, was that 10?
Yeah.
So I actually, again, I'm 54. I actually saw them live on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And Tina and I, we watched it religiously back then. He comes out with this cap on, and he's just like a Tesla song. He's got his hair tucked under his hat. And that song, Even Flow's playing. And then when they hit it really hard, that hat comes out, and all of that hair just fell out. We were like, what the hell are we watching?
Yeah.
And God is so influential.
So,
and not just as part of them, but also his solo stuff. He has a big humanitarian effort that he works as well. He does benefits and concerts and stuff like that for it. That's
just a good human too.
Great choice. Yeah.
I mean, that's the one,
I applaud you. So when you say you got the record, did you actually get the CD?
CD. Yeah. And honestly, my vinyl collecting started because of that band. Because I remember, because that week, like I got that CD on the Monday. By the Friday, my aunt came to town, and that's when the new album came out. And so she was like, "Hey, I want to take you to. You want to go to Walmart? I'll get you anything." I'm like, "Yeah, I need this second album. Like, I need more, And then, and they put out Vitology like a year later, but they put it out on vinyl a week before it came out. And I remember my stepdad had a record player in his shop. So I went and bought the vinyl record and listened in that shop, just sitting there nonstop. And then I just kind of became obsessed with vinyl from there.
Yeah. Wow.
And I have like, I mean, you can't see. I'd have to take the phone off, but there's.
Yeah, you showed me before.
And my collection's my collection's pared down because there was a time where I have a collecting addiction, so I just had too many that I'm like, I'm never going to listen to Engelbert Humperdinck. Why do I have his album? That kind of thing. So I got rid of it's only stuff I like to listen to now, but it's still crazy.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
All right, who's yours?
Well, just one thing I got to say. I'm assuming that as soon as you got to this, when you picked this list, you knew what that number one was going to be, right?
Oh, that was the first choice.
Yeah.
It was harder after 3.
Oh, really? As to which ones could get in, which ones you had to leave. Yeah. Because
I was almost thinking about like in terms like this is a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was like, no, it's not. It's your choices. It doesn't.
That's right. Yeah. See, I agree with you about Mick Jagger and just all of those people. They're amazing, but they're just not my favorites. And
right. That's how they were. I'm like, I feel like I got to mention them.
Exactly.
Because they're greats. But there's so many greats. I mean, it's
yeah.
But I thought about for Prince. I was like,
there's only one favorite, absolute favorite for me.
It's my
And
music.
yes, it's the lead singer of the Jason band. Um, so this is a guy who blurs the line. I will say that right now. Is it
Robin Thicke.
rock? Is it funk? Is it blues? Is it R&B? It doesn't matter. It is the most amazing of all time. He's been the front for several bands, but he started off as a soloist, and sadly, he ended as a soloist. Um, First record I ever heard, I remember riding in a car with my brother and his his age friend, and when they stuck this in and the first song came on, I was like, "What am I hearing?" And that was Purple Rain, and it was Prince.
Yeah, I was gonna
So,
go Prince, but I was like, but I think him more was like an artist
well,
instead of
I
a frontman.
agree, but
Yeah,
I'm able to. I think because he was the lead of the Revolution, he was also a behind the
yeah,
scenes member of the Family, of Madhouse, of the new Power Generation, the
yeah.
Rainbow Children. And yeah, these are all bands that he created, but he was the front
Nice.
man of those.
Yeah.
So, haha, I get
Prince is
to,
he's one of my favorites, man.
yeah. Well, if you
Yeah, he's
can't
definitely.
find music that he makes that you like, I don't know what to do for you. Because his
I don't
stuff
trust you.
is, yeah,
Like I'll go deeper. I don't. You're like Prince sucks. I'm like I don't know that we can talk anymore.
yeah, and I'm with you. Aside from people who are just really messed up, I can't find anybody who doesn't appreciate the whole Purple Rain soundtrack.
Yeah,
Um, you know,
got it right
just
over here.
yeah, yeah,
And amongst, I think everything he's ever, not everything because he made so much, but
yeah.
I don't
I
have all
remember
the
getting
crazy
mine at Kmart, and it was vinyl,
Yeah,
and it came out, and it had a little poster inside of it. You know, so I've listened to his stuff ever then. I saw him twice in concert, once in front on the front row.
yeah,
I was lucky enough to get tickets by waiting out in the literally freezing cold of the radio station where you used to have to wait for the doors to open to buy the tickets.
yeah,
Um, but he has, just like you're talking about with Eddie Vedder, he is
yeah,
someone whose music has always spoken to me. Um, he's been topical. He's been ahead of his time. Um, he's he's just done it all,
yeah,
and to have all of these other bands that he's created and helped people, to go out and make stuff on their own. Sheila E. being the number one person, that I can think of. Um, there's no reason why he's not my absolute favorite.
I agree, man. That I wrestled, like I said, with him. I was like, but I think in terms, it's almost like Jimi Hendrix. I think it's like an artist,
Yeah.
But yeah, Prince is one of my all-time favorites. Actually, yeah, it's just, I mean, he could do anything.
Mm-hmm.
They should just shut down Super Bowl halftime performances since that
Thank
Purple
you.
Rain. I mean, no one's going to top that.
And I don't mean this.
Yeah, derogatory to them. No, it's just.
Yeah. I don't mean any offense to any person who might hear this, but God Himself made it rain while He performed Purple Rain, and I remember watching that and just thinking, "Oh crap, it's raining! It's the lightning. They're going to shut the show down." No, He stood there in those 5-inch heels and played that song. Just God, I still remember to this day.
It was a religious experience. I mean,
It really was.
I remember thinking, just like, holy shit, it's raining.
Yeah,
and he's playing that. I mean, the dude's probably played it a million times and tired of the song, but it played it like it was spiritual. Yeah. Like it truly was.
I agree.
And that's how music's always affected me. It's definitely a spiritual thing that, like, I could be. Like, I wish doctors for depression could prescribe like playing music and doing stuff. or
Yeah.
even just how live music and hearing music does for me. Because it's like I'll see something live or see something like that, and it's like I'm on fire for the next year, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just yeah, that Prince is up there, and like, but I wrestled with we should have talked in depth before. Because I was like, well, is he a frontman of a band or is he just a major
Nope.
artist?
Yeah,
No.
and that's one of the things I like people to come if I hadn't and you had and you could make your argument for it,
Yeah,
bravo. Even if you
yeah,
can't make your argument for it, it's still your favorite, you know, it's
right.
good. But no, I'm
Well,
glad you had a
awesome.
great list, man. And we matched there on Freddie Mercury because he is classic, you know.
Oh, just classic. And I know the reason say we could go all night because I know I'm gonna get off this and I'm gonna think about one that and went, oh man, no, I should have said that one. That's gonna happen for a week.
Yeah.
Oh no, I should have said that one.
Yeah,
There's
I
two or
thought you were
three that
going to
would
say
still be there. You thought I
I
was gonna
thought you
say
were
who?
going to do Led Zeppelin. I mean, not Led Zeppelin. Oh God, listen to me, Leonard Skinner.
No, I have PTSD with Leonard Skinner. In high school, there was a strings class and they had a semester where they needed a guitar player.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, sweet. I can play guitar every day for an hour during school. This is great for a semester. So I signed up and they were playing Skinnerd. Their concert was Skinnerd. So it was 3 songs. Tuesday's Gone, you know, the Sweet Home Alabama, Freebird.
Yeah.
We played that for an hour every day for 6
Oh,
months.
that would kill it.
To this day, I hear Skinner. I'm like, oh, turn that shit off. I can't. So much I almost got beat up playing a show in Alabama because when I was like 21, some guy was like, play Freebird. And, you know, everybody would say that, you know, it's the joke, right?
Yeah.
Well, in Alabama, that's like the national anthem. Like,
Oh, yeah.
It's, and I was 23 and drinking and may have said something real smart else on the microphone. And I was told that I almost got shot that night. So,
Wow.
I got some stories from the music days.
Well, you know, there's a group, and I think it's Radiohead, that has learned the first part of Freebird because people will yell it at their concert and they'll start playing it. And then they'll go like, yeah, no, I was just messing with you. And then go into another one of their own songs.
I got a funny Freebird story. I'm a big fan of this artist named Monty Montgomery. You ever heard of him?
No.
Crazy, great guitar player, songwriter, but I mean, very successful, but definitely, you know, not on that. He's not a household name.
Okay.
But he has a cover. He's a very funny guy too on stage. So like, you don't just get the great music; you get he's hilarious in between the.
Oh, cool.
But he has a cover called "Stairway to Freebird," where he plays the music to "Stairway to Heaven" but sings Freebird. And one time, I thought that was clever and cool, so I started covering it. I remember I was playing in Hattiesburg, and there's this drunk guy, and the whole set he is just blacked out. And but I get towards the end of my set, and I start covering that, and he wakes up and he's like, "Man, you f that song up." I'm like, it's a joke, bro. Go back to sleep. Like, I'm not being serious. That's why I was like, I'm leaving Freebird. I'm leaving
That's
Skinner.
it. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
I almost got shot once in Alabama.
Probably almost beat up.
Wow. I got some doozies of music stories.
I bet so. We'll have to cover those one day.
Comic-Con world's kind of like, oh, this is a breeze. It's got its drama, but it doesn't bother me. I'm like, I'm in the music business.
Yeah, nobody's throwing beer bottles at you.
Over whatever y'all are talking about. Yeah.
Awesome.
The bar in Baton Rouge that booked us during a hurricane, that was fun. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, folks, that concludes the countdown of our favorite rock front persons. I do like that we both had ladies in there as well. So,
yeah.
I'd like to thank you, Jason, for taking the time to compile your list. I know it must have been hard for 4, 5, 6, and for 4 or 5 in the honorable mentions. So, thanks for taking the time to do it.
Yeah, the honorable mention really could be about 70 people, I'm sure.
That's it. And I also want to thank you for choosing to listen to Fave Five From Fans. We're thrilled that you joined us and hope you had an amazing, fantastic time. If you enjoyed the podcast, we would be incredibly grateful if you would share it with a friend, and also go on to your favorite podcast app and leave a 5-star review and write a review for us, because that is a free way that you can grow the show. And I'll tell you this, just between us, if you didn't like this episode, you can still go and leave us a 5-star review, and I won't tell anybody. It's fine. You just, it's
I won't
okay.
tell anybody either.
No.
Snitches get stitches. I won't do it.
Your support means the world to us and helps Plastic Microphone thrive. Even if our show didn't come out as the top, give us another chance next week. See, I used the T word. Connect with us on social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, X if you want to. We're on TikTok, we're on Blue Sky. Any of those to help keep the conversation going and make our podcast community even more vibrant and exciting. Thank you for being a part of our journey. We can't wait to share more thrilling content with you in the future. Stay tuned for more Fave Five From Fans adventures. And new episodes come out every Friday, unless they don't. So be sure to subscribe and follow us, and you can catch all of the episodes. And remember, folks, it may not be the best, it may not be the most popular, but if it's your favorite, then that's good enough for us. Thank you for joining us. Jason, take us home.
There you go.
There you go.
That's my catchphrase. Y'all have a great evening. Thank y'all for hanging out with us.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.